Hello everyone. Today we are taking a look at the Duratrax Fossil. The Duratrax Fossil is actually the daily driver tire for Tire Rack currently, and it is the tire that this entire rock course was created on. This is the tire that completed every obstacle that you see and has been originally it was going to be the baseline tire that everything was compared against. I've kind of got rid of that idea. But nonetheless, it is the tire that was good enough to create this course, although maybe not the best tire out there. Now, unfortunately, this morning the wind is picking back up, so I am using the lapel mic again, which I don't love, but it is what it is. The wind is not strong right now, but there has been a decent breeze coming in, and the lapel mic blocks the wind noise. And it does allow me to move a little further away from the phone and get a better angle on the rig when I'm driving, so that's helpful. So, in our first test on the side hill, the Fossil's doing their thing. A little bit of side slip, but not too bad. The Fossils that we're running today are stuffed with, that little crevasse right there. All right, I need the rear to slip out more so I can pivot. Get off there. Should see it slide now. Nope. Front passenger is lifted off the ground. Front driver not collapsing. Oh, we're in a crevasse. Okay. Ooh, we're going to try to set it back down. Move straight forward. There's that wind picking up. Got to keep an eye on the camera, make sure it doesn't get blown over. Stuffed into the Fossils today, we're running Three Brothers 3D printed inserts, dual stage. When the Fossils originally ran this course, they were running Crawler Innovations dual stage foams. But I wanted to see how the Three Brothers did in these compared. So far, it's been the same on the side hill. Able to pivot and transition and take some of the steeper lines on this side hill without issue. Although you do have to make slow work of it to avoid rolling out, but that's pretty common with a side hill like this. We're about a 40-degree average on this side hill, and we've got a very pocketed and uneven surface, and so you kind of just have to take it slowly because there's a lot of stuff on here that can upset the vehicle and cause a rollout. This truck is not specifically tuned for like extreme crawling or anything like that. It's mostly a RTR-esque truck, so I have to take that into account as well. I do have a new exit on this obstacle that I'm trying to build because my original exit's kind of been destroyed. But I don't have it there, so you might expect a rollout on the exit. That's not anything to do with the tire. It's just the exit's kind of been destroyed. I can try to exit the same way we came on, but it's really difficult because there is that big rock there. You just have to get the angle right. And again, with the way that this is, it's going to upset that driver's side now, is going to kick way up in the air. And that passenger rear is now deep down into one of the pockets on this rock. And that's why we're trying to rebuild. Normally, we used to exit on this corner right here, but it has been dug out a lot, which maybe I just need to put a rock there and stop coming up that way. It's not every day, folks, that you get to see a man's brain working in real time, but it sure is a blessing when you do. All right, that's going to be our exit. And now when we roll out, right here had been the way that we are coming up when we roll out. But now we're just going to come up right through there. So our next obstacle, wet or dry. When the Fossils originally plotted this course, this actually was just a dry obstacle. The lake was low at the time, and I have never tested the wet performance of the Fossils, which we're about to do right now. So coming on in the entryway through the water, get those tires nice and wet. And first, we will take the easy line up the obstacle. And the Fossil's not having a big issue with that, able to come right up and over. Although I am curious now how they will handle the more difficult line, the more difficult entry. The Fossils are a tire that required wheel speed to get up when it was dry from the difficult line. So we will see how they handle it when they're wet. Will it be the same? Will they be able to do it at all? Or are they one of those rare unicorn tires that actually performs better when wet than dry? In the previous video, the Hunk was able to do this without wheel speed. Does not look like the Fossils will be able to. So, I don't know. They can't do it with wheel speed either. One more chance. There we, don't roll over in the water. Maybe they'll do it. That wind picking up again. I saw enough that I want to keep trying. There we go. Able to do it with wheel speed, but not a pretty showing, but they were able to do it. Let's go back and test the easy line one more time. Make sure that wasn't a fluke. Make sure that they are able to do that with low speed. Yeah. So running in water is not something that I actually really like doing, but I do feel like it's important for the tire testing aspect because I know a lot of you do like that. And so I am willing to increase the amount of maintenance I have to do on this truck for your viewing pleasure. Now coming here, this is just a transition to our next obstacle, but there are some interesting lines here. Got the rear bumper hooked on this rock, got to pull it off. And we're hung on either the skid or the links. There we go. And on to the next obstacle. Pretty disappointed that that wind is back. I recorded 6 videos yesterday, a month and a half's worth of content in blistering winds, like 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts. And this morning, the first 2 videos I recorded, the lake was glass, there was no wind at all. It's starting to pick up a little bit now, but it's nothing compared to what it was yesterday. We're probably talking 12 mile an hour gusts right now. So nothing awful. I probably don't need to be using the lapel yet, but I've already had to re-record 1 video due to technical difficulties, and I don't want to do more. So the goal on this obstacle is for the rear tire to hook the edge of that rock and push it up. You don't have a lot of grip on the front, and you don't have any grip on the ground to push it, so you're really relying on the lug to be able to hook that rock. And I had it there, but then I let off the throttle a little too early. This has been more difficult for tires since the water level at the lake has been up, and they hit this obstacle when they're still wet. So we give them a little bit more time to be able to do it before we resort to bumping it up with wheel speed, because the wetness of the tire obviously is going to impact it. Right, it almost gets it, and then right as I shuttle over, it loses it. Let's try not shuttling over. Nope, slipping back. That passenger rear at least now getting pretty dirty. I don't remember if the Fossil needed to bump onto this obstacle when they created this course, but they're going to need to do it today. And of course, we exit on a side hill. So having to bump onto there is not a failure of that obstacle. It is more of an observation of a tire that just needs to be driven differently than some other tires. It does show you that some tires are better at certain things than others. But again, if a tire can complete an obstacle, I consider it a pass. And like I've talked about, I do actually keep score of, each obstacle is, what am I hung on? Oh, each obstacle is worth 5 points. And I do actually average all that out at the end of the course, which is 10 obstacles. So they do get a final score, and I do have a spreadsheet to keep track of how they compare to one another. But that's not really the purpose of the tire testing I'm doing. I'm not as much trying to compare tires with one another as I am trying to see how a tire performs as an individual and how can we make it better. And that is why some tires will get a second chance, such as the Boom Racing Aggressor. It got a second chance and it's going to get a third chance. Not that it's been an overly impressive tire. It's actually pretty low on the score sheet, but I have noticed things that I believe can be corrected or improved with different inserts. And so that's what I've been trying. This here is another just transition to the next obstacle, but it does have some interesting things. The exit on the side hill there really tests the forward lateral grip, or the lateral grip of the front tires, I mean, and their ability to hold the truck in place so that it doesn't exit that hill too far down and run into a rock. Fossils are still fairly wet. Of course, with those 3D printed inserts, it will be nice that I don't have to unmount these immediately and dry out the foams. And since by the end of this, I will have tested either 12 or 13 sets of tires in the past 2 days, really 24 hours, honestly. That'll be nice. There's a lot of them. Most of them have foams in them. Fossils usually don't have issues here. We are dealing with a very wet tire still, a very dirty tire because they're wet. I think we're going to have another showing of the Fossils needing to bump, which we kind of saw that on the first obstacle where they got wet, is they required a lot more wheel speed than they normally did to get on that obstacle. So I think when the Fossil is wet, it just needs a little bit of love to get it places. So try to bump up here. There's a pretty narrow area where you can actually bump onto this. This is a much more difficult obstacle than it appears on camera. And it's largely due to the ground underneath being mostly loose dirt, the rock being about 4.5 inches off the ground or so. And there's not a good lip on the edge of that rock to grip on, so you're really trying to drive up a pretty slick surface. And right here is where you need it to grab. See, that other rock is in the way. What am I caught on? There we go. Oh, yes, there's also right here, this log, or piece of wood, that is pretty well embedded into the ground and captured underneath that rock. Also impacting some things here. So there's a lot more difficulty to this than there looks, but tires should be able to do it. Most good tires can do this fairly easily. The Fossils having more problems than they should be. I really think it has to do with the fact they are drying out now, but those rear tires are very, very dirty. There we go. The right line here. That's the wrong line. That's the wrong line. No! That was close. I might have just quit for the day if that would have fallen back off. And now we come up to our next couple obstacles. Right here is where we see how a tire does in descent control. And what we want is for the rear tire to have enough grip to not fall off the obstacle, but to have enough slip to allow the front end to set down nice and gently without getting all topsy-turvy. Just like that. And we nosedive and set her back down. And then this part is more of testing the side wall, not the lug necessarily, but the side wall. So we're going to be pushing that driver's side front tire sidewall up against that rock and using it to control the descent. Yeah, very good. Fossils right now run about $25 a pair. And I don't know how much longer they're going to be around. Duratrax seems to be going away. I think that Duratrax is a part of the stupid Horizon conglomerate now. I think they were Proline's sort of budget line of tires, and then I think after Horizon acquired Proline, they decided they didn't want to do that. So I have a feeling any Duratrax tires that you can buy right now are clearing out inventory, and when they're gone, they're gone. Deepwoods, Showdowns, things like that, especially Class 2 sizes, are almost impossible to find new. They're starting to get hard to find used. Luis is a company that seems to have taken over the licensing for it, and they are really releasing them under different names, but they're not, well, the tread design seems to be identical, but the compound isn't. So I'm not really sure if there is anything official there or if they're just kind of copying them. But the Fossil is a tire I like quite a bit, and it's going to make me kind of sad if it goes away, because I think, you know, that they're more expensive now than they used to be. They used to be about $20 a pair, and they were always a good budget tire. So here I'm not getting the right line onto the obstacle that I need. Reset. Trying to remember how the Fossils need to handle this. It has been, even I created this course with these tires, and they are the daily driver of this truck, the daily tire for this truck, but it's actually been a long time since I've driven them because of all the tires I've been reviewing. I think, yeah, that's what they need. All right, so here we test this obstacle. Oh, this obstacle is a test of side lug. We need to hook the tire on this edge and walk it up. But it's very slippery to get up there, even though this is sandstone. It's a very, very steep angle. This rock is pocketed, and it's pretty slick for sandstone. This one's pretty worn down. Deepwoods or the Fossils are going to get plenty of opportunities at this because I know they can do it. And I just saw that, I mean, you guys just saw that they could do it. I wouldn't have messed that up. No, don't hit the camera. One thing with the Fossils is they're a little bit of a shorter tire. They advertise them, I think, at 4.75, but they're actually about 4.6. And then with these 3D inserts in them, in the bag that it gives them, I don't think they're quite 4.6. They look pretty small on this truck. The bottom of my obstacle is starting to get a little torn up too. Okay, I need to come on slowly and then apply wheel speed. Nope. Too much bounce. I think a lot of that is this insert. It's not going to happen today, but I'm going to put the Crawler Innovations foams back in these 3D printed inserts. One of the things I don't like about them is they tend to bounce a lot more. And these are bouncing a lot. And with the wheel speed that I need from the Fossils to be able to get this line, that bounce is messing it up. There we go. Oh, come on. Had it. I can't pull that up now. Now we're in an axle breaker. Hopefully this isn't cheating too much, but I just put this rock right there and that one right there to close that gap. And that's not really to help with the obstacle, I don't think, but it is to close that gap so that when I fall down in it, I don't snap an axle. But we'll see. They may end up being a benefit to the obstacle as well. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, I need up on the rock. Nope. I know I'm giving these a lot of chances, but it's because I know they can do it. But I'm getting ready to call it quits. They're getting ready to fail, which will impact their score because I don't go based off of what I know they can do. I go based off of what they did today during the review. Okay, now keeping it. There we go. Definitely some difficulty today with the Fossils on this obstacle. And I really think a lot of that is attributed to the 3D inserts in these tires. There's a lot more bounce than I remember there being with the Crawler Innovations foam. And 3D inserts do allow for that bounce. Like I said earlier, that is the downside to them. Okay, exit off this obstacle. Set the rear end back down. There we go. But they work better in some tires than others, but I'm not liking the way they work in the Fossils, so they're definitely going to go back to Crawler Innovations. But of course, this is why we test stuff, because there are some tires that 3D inserts are the bee's knees in, and there's other tires where they're just not. And the Fossils, they're just kind of not. Which, there we go. Rear diff hang up. You need forward drive from the front to get off that. The next obstacle, I'm worried about how these 3D inserts are going to perform. But it is my favorite obstacle to drive. And again, I do know that this tire can do it if I can drive it properly to even get on. There we go. But I've never driven these with 3D inserts until today. They actually kind of just walk this normally pretty easily. Yeah, they still mostly are. They do take low speed. Yeah, still doing it. And we need wheel speed to hop off. And with that smaller size tire, getting off here, a little bit difficult. It's kind of, you dismount into a ravine here. There we go. And now we approach my least favorite part of the course, the trails. And as I say, this is my least favorite, mostly because I have to walk, drive one-handed, and record. This part is significantly different since it was created because it has been very much washed out. And it was mostly just kind of a way to get on, but now it's actually kind of a bump test. Ooh, and we just altered the obstacle again. That middle rock just kind of moved, and yeah. All right. Oh, fell over. Coming up here, transitioning from loose dirt to rock frequently. Now here we need to get up and over. And then on the second rock, we get hung on the links a lot because you need wheel speed, but you don't have a lot of traction to get it. And there's the hang up. It's time to set the camera down. And the truck will be off frame right now. But All I'm really doing is rocking it back and forth, trying to get it off that obstacle. There we go. And we come here. This should be an easy walk up. Yep. Up and over. Fossil's doing a good job. I have a feeling I've been saying deep woods a few times. Sometimes my brain just doesn't work very well. And our gravel hill climb. We try to do this with no more than 40% throttle. But a lot of tires have to use 100% throttle. Yeah. The Fossils walk that. The Fossils are a great loose surface tire. They're a good trail tire. And they're a good rock crawling tire. The Fossils really are a good all-around tire. Which is why they have been the daily driver on this rig for so long. This is actually the second set. I wore down a set. I've got this one that's on there. And then I've got two more still in the package that I bought when I learned that Duratrax seems to be going away. There's something kind of funky with the front end of this rig. I'm gonna have to take a look at it. I think we might have another break. Much as it's been rolling off obstacles this weekend, that wouldn't surprise me. No breakage, just, oh, it's because the body came unclipped here and it made it look like it was. Okay, so Fossils, like I said, they're a great all-around tire. I really like them. I highly recommend them. Get them while you still can. I have seen them go on sale lately for as low as $14 a pair. That's the last time I bought them. That was on eBay through, I think it was through RPP Hobby. But I bought a set and then I actually went back. I thought about it and I was like, I should have bought two sets, even though I have two spares. But I wanted to buy another one and they had already gone back up to $22 a pair or something. So there's something going on. I think once they're gone, they're gone. So hopefully they're still available now. Hopefully you can still get them because they are a good tire to run. I think they're a very good all-around tire. They do good on the rocks. They do great on the trails. And I said I've already went through one set. That set of tires probably had 100 hours on it or more crawling on sandstone. And so sandstone just tears up tires. I mean, these were mostly new today, and you can already see there's some feathering starting on the lugs. So these had been run one other time before today. So anyway, Fossils are a great tire. They're not the best thing out there. These are going to score around a 4.3 is going to be their score on the rocks, but might be able to step that up to 4.5 with taking those 3D inserts out. So anyway, until next time, everybody, have a good day.